No testing, no nothing, none of that. By now, I figure you'd have seen my community post already. In the... I'm just going to my channel. In the 2 hours since I've posted that, I have actually, if you could believe it with my misanthropic self, soured further on the idea. Oh, this month's art spotlight. I'm gonna probably check these, what they're based off out soon enough. Oh, it looks very nice. Fucking love Parawash, by the way. In the 2 hours since I made that post, I've soured even further on the announcement of the SCP series for a number of different reasons, all of which include, hey, we got the secret, all of which include how the fucking movie industry treats these little indie projects and whatnot. That's not the that's not the point of this, not really. The point of this video is just to do SCP readings and to showcase the Lost SCP series. This is a new series. This actually shouldn't be like that, if you could imagine it. Apparently I am fucking crazy with the luck. Please give me... There she is, Josie the Half-Cat, as a neat little reference to the first little logo that the SCP Foundation had, given it's the Lost series. How enjoyable is that, huh? A Triceratops, presumably, or at least some sort of ceratopsian. I don't know if it's specifically the Triceratops, though I'm pretty sure it is. And 529, how beautiful. First of all, 000, 001, and 173 are all currently locked. Suspiciously complicated placeholder, and then data lost awaiting data recovery blocked. This is... yeah. So, first of all, let's get a little bit of levity, some positivity. Hooray, yippee, hooray, yippee. That's my positivity. We're doing the Lost SCP series. This is something they did recently. Relatively, you might have seen this on their official Instagram or on their official Twitter. It took them a period of time to actually post about it, but here we are with this. This, of course, being the SCP Lost series. This new thing we're trying out because storage space is rapidly filling up in the main series. Let me read the blurb for you. Somewhere in the vast labyrinthine walls of the Foundation, a folder is being misplaced. A backup is corrupting, a budget is getting slashed, a low-priority anomaly is disappearing overnight, a set-it-and-forget-it policy is becoming good enough because it has to be. Who takes note of these things? Who commits them to memory? The Lost SCP series is about things that are just that, lost. Writers are free to interpret this how they will, but no interpretation should produce things that would be right at home in the main series. Experiment, produce strange and unusual things, let the anomalous be startling again. Whatever you do, remember that things always become lost for a reason. This is like a side branch, almost, to the main series. I saw this and was intrigued. Now, I know that it's 096. In number alone, L096. I wonder if it will have allusions or references, or is roughly based on 096 itself. We'll see when I end up reading it. I just thought the title was very interesting. Give up your son so we may eat him. Immediately makes you think of Saturn devouring his own son, which in turn makes me think of Backrooms spoiler here. I'm not going to check it out yet. Oh, it's gray. I like that. So, let's get negative. Let's get evil. Let's get a little bit hateful. So, like I said, I've soured on the idea of that SCP film adaptation. You know why I soured on the idea of that SCP film adaptation is because the Backrooms and Obsession were very well-made movies. They were exceptionally well-made movies. Some sleeper hit indie films, so to speak. Although I wager they shouldn't be considered sleeper hits. Because as I've mentioned before in the Backrooms movie review thing that I did, both directors are known for other projects that are not traditionally, movie. This may be not the best place to talk about this, but I don't want to make its own dedicated video because it feels like still getting... Kane Pixels have been making amateur film projects for fucking years now, and then you finally got the chance to make the Backrooms. Is it any wonder the Backrooms was really well made? Especially because it's something, part of the same universe he's been, technically, part of the same universe he's been constructing for 4 fucking years now. And I may not know much about Obsession's director, but I do know that they, I want to remember anyway, were making tons of content on YouTube before. Mostly comedy oriented from what I know, but still, they've been making what amount to amateur short films for years now. Is it any wonder that the movie they ended up creating was very well made, very well received, loved despite being indie? It's been like a month since these movies came out, or headlines. Backrooms director Kane Parson, reportedly 20 years old, made fucking millions of dollars at the box office. Right, whatever. Obsession opens to however much millions of dollars at the box office, breakout hit, new director, etc., etc., etc. And that was like phenomenal. This will surely allow Hollywood and other movie execs to take risks when it comes to hiring on what they may consider unknown or unbloodied actors that, despite having made what amount to amateur short films, despite not being shown in things like festivals or having theatrical releases, all of the experience that they do have will surely now be recognized and allow more people to break into the industry. And then that's not what fucking happened. Because what happened? In like a fucking week, we have announced the Mandela Catalog movie, a Siren Head movie, and now the SCP movie. You may be thinking, cheese underscore stick one. Why are you so upset? You clearly wanted more people in the industry and shit. Like you said with Kane Pixel has been producing part of the same universe for 4 years now. Mandela Catalog. Alex Gister. That dude's been making his project for years now. Sure, I agree with you on that point. Out of the movies, I'm actually the most hyped for Mandela Catalog, which is ironic because I've not kept up with the fucking series. No, my problem is this. Too much, too fast. Who were these movies for? Who are they for? Because what it really Steven fucking Spielberg directing, not to insult the man, he's very good at his craft, or producing, whatever the fuck he's doing. Point I'm making is it really just feels like movie execs in Hollywood and whatever the hell else looked at this and decided, I am going to cram as many online horror properties as I can to make a quick buck because surely their fans will eat this slop up. I mean, sure, some 20-year-old kid with a fucking camera, he made a grand sum of money. It couldn't have been because of skill or passion or because of experience or anything of the sort. No, it must have been because the masses are fucking idiots that will eat anything up. That's what they're thinking. You know why I know that's what they're thinking? Because of the announcement. Hollywood is currently looking for stories on fucking r/no sleep to turn into movies. r/no sleep? That place is a fucking cesspool. Every single part of r/no sleep is fucking antithetical to itself. The big name hits on No Sleep do not follow the rules. The ones that follow the rules on No Sleep are frankly either ass, or the people in the comments don't follow the rules, or they're just sniped anyway for some obscure rule that nobody... A big part of the No Sleep is you have to LARP, or roleplay, it's not live action. You have to roleplay as though all of this is happening, it's all true, which means there has to be some way to get it onto the forum, which means that there is a given in the story no matter how much you try to walk away from it. Unless, of course, you ignore that because you're a big name author in r/no sleep. You can get away with whatever the fuck you want. I don't like No Sleep. I don't like the fucking subreddit. It's not good. But here's the thing. Hollywood's aware of that. But they think we're all fucking idiots. So what do? Green light, green light, green light. Anything that comes across my fucking eyes because I think I'm going to make so much goddamn money. I could really keep going, but I don't want to, so I'm just going to make a few more quick points, and then we'll get into readings. I promise. I'm sorry to dump this all on you. I'm very stressed and upset and frustrated. Remember Slender? Remember Slender Man? The Slender movie. Always watching a Marble Hornet story, and then Sony Man. What do they all have in common? They're all based on Slender Man, the Slender Man mythos. Even Marble Hornets, because Marble Hornets does come from the Something Awful forums, all of those posts. What is the problem with Slenderman? There isn't much about him. The original images were just that, some images with a few text blurbs that were a few paragraphs each, and then boom, sent out to the world. Done. Done and dusted. And so then, why bother trying anything, actually? The way Marble Hornets did, when you can just slap their name on it and make whatever movie you actually wanted to make that's shitty, and then make money in the box office. Thankfully, it fucking flopped. Same with Sony Man, same with that Slender movie, but that was obvious and overt and pretty much just they made to make money. So I mean, I guess in some way I can respect you for that, although I don't like you. What the fuck is there for Siren Head, really? I like Trevor Henderson's art. I think the art's pretty good. I think the little blurbs he has for it's pretty good. A feature-length film? What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Same for Mandela Catalog. Didn't that shit get really esoteric and weird? And its whole thing is being in an analog format, or so I've been made aware. Given what's up with the art, I haven't kept up. Is it something about the archives? Is all like analog media, discs and VHSs and like recordings? How can we make this into a theatrical film and have it of the same cut of the same cloth? I don't know. We'll fucking figure it out eventually. I guess. Like I said, I have the most faith for that. And then finally, the SCP film. First of all, nothing has been said about it whatsoever. We don't know who's directing, producing, or writing. Grim Omens. I'll say that much. Why is that? Because in the I'm writing entries for people to read for fandom, I'd really appreciate it if the guys writing the entries are the guys writing for the movie. Furthermore, I don't know how the fuck the Creative Commons licensing is going to work. Someone's going to explain that to me, and this not the fucking point. Right? I want the authors who make the files to get credited. Why? Because the SCP Foundation is so expansive that to this point that the prominent authors who have created entries for the story and then people read those and got inspired and created from then on then forward are kind of shaping the narrative when you think about it. Someone made up Scranton reality anchors and we all ran with it. Someone made up Akiva radiation, we all ran with it, etc., etc., etc. If these elements are going to be present in the story, because surely they will be, how are they going to be credited? How are they going to be given their fucking recompense? I don't want them to just be given a hearty slap on the back, good job, kid, you sure tried, from someone who's not affiliated with us in any particular fucking manner. Alright? Not to sound insular and tribal, but quite frankly, I want SCP authors to write the SCP movie. I do not want anyone who has no affiliation with us. And sure, that sounds obvious, but I truly mean this start to finish. If they hadn't so much as read anything past Series 6 before they were given the green light to start writing or producing or whatever, I don't want them associated with this project in any particular fucking way. And I'm just some guy, right? I have no fucking... Been an SCP fan for 10 years. People who make these articles for the people's enjoyment have inspired me so much that it rekindled my love of reading and writing, and it's something I wish to pursue professionally. It's the only thing I do anymore. It's the only hobbies I have anymore is reading and writing. Because of this fandom. I don't want this to be bad, but I can't see it being good. I... Sure, cheese stick. Just wait, you may be thinking. Maybe it won't be so bad. But then that's another problem. What if it isn't bad? But what if it's not what I want it to be? Because, like I said, 17 years of backlog, I've been around for 10 of them. As cringe as it is to say, this is something that's personal to me. I don't want them fucking it up, but I can't see them doing it well. God, I wish it never got greenlit. It's gonna get eyes on us in the worst way possible. Anyway, apologies apologies if I ruined the mood, but that's how I feel about the movie so far. Please, love of God, give me something to look back on and be happy. But I read that one little article that came out already, and in the final paragraph, they directly state, let me find the exact quote, because it infuriated me. VHS SCP will adapt the found footage concept the franchise has been known for since its start in 2012. It will be framed as a recovered field documentation or video evidence gathered, redacted, and archived by the secretive organization. Standalone segments in the anthology will focus on different objectives, entities, or events under the containment breach narrative. Regalis, you made a great game, but we can't escape your shadow. What the fuck? The containment breach narrative. I don't think that's a good angle for the movie. I don't think found footage is a good angle for the movie. Ideally, the movie would have way more groups of interest and be about something rather than an anthology. Although I'm not dismissing the anthology format out of hand. I enjoy the format, but it's not a dedicated video, cheese stick. Please just get on with the readings because you're making yourself very upset and you might actually start fucking crying and recording. Anyway. Lost SCP series. We're taking a brave first step into a new, unexplored territory. SCP-L096. Written by Hopsoak. Hopsioak? I don't know. Info. So we cooked my son and ate him. The next day I said to her, "Give up your son so we may eat him," but she had hidden him. Intriguing. Arrival date 09/06/96. Patient status lost. Special care procedures. I'm intrigued already. If found, Face and Chrysler to be ignored. Okay, so we are going to be SCP-096 based. Please do it better than the 9,000 contest entry whose number I forgot that I do not like. I'm still not a fan of shyness. Apologies, Spider Jaws. It wasn't for me. Special care procedures. If found, Face and Chrysler are to be ignored. Non-lethal force is authorized and has been found to accelerate demanifestation of SCP-L906. L096, sorry. Capture of SCP-L096 currently proves impossible. Description. Every day I wake up in a bed that isn't mine. It's cold and everything under me hurts from the sores that keep opening because I am lying down far too long. Well, it's so clear to me why this happens, or maybe it was once, I cannot do anything about it. Still, I can't get up myself, and so I try to all the time. Usually I don't have any difficulty moving around after that. I walk down the stairs to get a bit of cardio in to start my day off, and breakfasts in the buffet trays it always is. I can tell the people here get less familiar by the day. They keep being replaced by copies that look like the ones I know, except something is wrong. Maybe an eye is out of place or their voice is more gravelly than it should be. Now, I don't want to do anything with anybody anymore if they're going to be someone completely different than my friends. I pick at my food for the next few minutes. Eating's hard to do these days and my teeth ache so much with every bite. My jaw opens just fine. I've had to learn to swing it open wider than most, but I just can't stomach the stuff if chunks are going to be this intact. And I know they complain about my appetite, but I just can't. There was a time when I had a lot of muscle on me, That came with the job. Do as much packing and hauling and throwing stuff into trucks as I do, and you'll never need to see a gym a day in your life. Granted, I'd come home in pain all over, but it was worth it. I'd take off my boots, get one of the old buckets we'd watch the kids in when they were just little babies. And here's an image of little babies. I'd soak them in some hot water and I'd pick them up and put them on my lap. Look at me now. My arms and legs are sticks. Forget the kids. I couldn't pick up the pitiful excuse of a pillow I've got now. But God, what I wouldn't give to see, well, them. Them. Yeah, I miss them. I bet they're at kindergarten still. I want to go home. I know I'm not home right now and I'm just waiting for them to come get me. They'll come any day. Folks in the medical get-ups asked me to stop saying that, though, giving myself a sense of false hope. But they wouldn't just dump me here and leave me. That's no way to be. Till then, I can still run. I run a lot whenever someone sees me. I know they do, even if I'm not there. There's a glint of recognition in their eyes. That I think I remember, too. Gets me excited, like maybe there's just something that they were waiting for or to do, and then they'd be right back to come grab me, and so I'm bounding and sprinting and rushing before I even realize I am. But the closer I get, the more I realize I'm going to be wrong. just like every other time. You get used to it eventually, or so I tell myself, but I still get angry and frustrated and cry just as bad as I did the first time. It's not my fault, the tears make it hard to see. Or maybe I just tell myself that. In my opinion, the sprinting brings it out of me, but it's only because I am lonely, I promise. I calm down once I get close enough. They do lash out sometimes, but it makes sense. I don't want to scare them, even if it's never who I'm looking for in the first place. Sometimes I worry that maybe I've forgotten that too, and that I've already found them. Forgetting that worry would be nice, but it's still sticking around, the bugger. So I hide my face. I'm too ashamed. They tell me to do things to distract myself. Some days I imagine myself on a plane, flying away from all this nonsense, to a place where things just start to make sense again. I've asked for directions, or at least where Sammy or Peter or Lucas live, but they tell me they're not around anymore. I just saw them yesterday, so I know they're lying. Stuff like this makes me... Well, these days I start to wonder why exactly they put me in there. Sometimes I leave just to make sure I know my way home. Other days it's because they keep stopping me from getting to work. It's real annoying, but I let them stop me. If I'm trying to make cash to get food, then I'm already getting food, I suppose. If I'm trying to make cash to get food, then if I'm already getting food, I suppose I don't need the job anyways. I'm sure missing one more day will be fine. I try to do activities with everyone else. Maybe I paint, or I pretend I'm taking that hike I always said I would. Felt I would conquer a mountain just yesterday. But now I can hardly recognize myself in the mirror. I didn't know beards and wrinkles grew that fast. Then it's dinner time or lunchtime, and I end up sleeping most of the day away. When I wake up in the middle of the night, I try turning on the light and reading, but I can hardly make sense of what the words are saying. No, I see just fine, that's not the issue. Even with my cataracts, mind you, but the letters just don't mean anything anymore. They feel like no, which is nonsense anagrammized. At least that was then. For the last few days, the routine's been the same. I'm sleeping outside, nothing to eat. It's cold out, and all I have is this crappy little gown they gave me. Warm cup of cocoa would be nice. Maybe I cut my nails. They're getting all this gunk onto them from being in the dirt. I wouldn't mind going back to the other place. They haven't found me yet, though. Maybe they're afraid of me running at them. I should have done a better job of controlling myself. SCP-L096 is hungry. SCP-L096 doesn't know where he is right now. SCP-L096 is very scared. I'm frustrated, I'm wet, I'm miserable and angry. I miss my family. I just want to go home. But I don't really know where home is. I liked it. That's nice. Really are redefining what an SCP is, huh? First of all. I like that I combined aspects of a tale alongside the very obvious, very well-known SCP-096. And it's pretty obviously also, or at least I think so. Oh, it's a filter because my image is weird. Or at least in my opinion, it's pretty obviously an allegory or an allusion to old age, getting dementia, being put in a care home, and just waiting for either death or to see people you know again, stuff like that. That's really, I like that a lot. That's fun. I will, I will give you an upvote. I like you. Thank you kindly, Popsiak. I don't know how to say your name. That was very nice. Uh, Obviously short, so we're gonna try to find something. El clase de desparecido. The desperate class D, I think is what it says. Are you gone? Oh. Aw. HCS, human recording. Turn me off, dead man. Prototype, nah. I might do this eventually. Let him out. That's 008. I wonder if you will be alluding to intriguing. Written by Let Him Out. Oh, wait, no. Written by When Were We? Word count 1800 words. Notice from blank blank Department of Corrupted. They don't want to tell you anything at all. They want you to roll in your own slop until you die, graciously expiring with your veins plugged by cholesterol glaciers. Is that what you are, a snuffling pig? The way out is through, buddy. That's a hyperlink. It's just underlined. I lied to you. I am intrigued. Glad you heard me out. I'll tell you this, he's a one-of-a-kind man, doesn't bear numbering, but if you insist, we could call him corrupted. They invented numbers first, at the dawn of time. By the Tigris, the oldest written things they find are counts of harvest yields. Language is for spreadsheets, essentially. It's what the whole human project is, turning the wheel of history. It means butting up against optimization problems for 10,000 years, trying to grub pennies from the universal law. You want to argue, but look at what you're doing now. You measure, survey, arrange, everything's subordinated to your law, a ghost of the Prussian state. Cicero says about the Germans, they chose their kings by acclaim. They saw the ruling spirit in him and crowned him. Now you strangle that spirit where it stands. But you can't deny what he is, so you class him corrupted. The crown of the world. There's something vital about him that slips through your fingers like sand. He's pure will. He refuses your bloodless categories, and you can't help but recognize it. Are you about the Scarlet King? You have so many categories, busying yourself like ants to contain them, all of you. Procedure for the sake of procedure. The Faustinian spirit, as Schopenhauer said. It's the most beautiful thing in the world. Carried us up from apes to demigods, down in the holy river and near the marsh. A sump to sink into and stagnate in. When you let people lie still, they grow malarial and putrid. And they need to take that hideousness inside them, sprawl open their rib cages, and let their bacterial hearts pump and spill their filth over what's good in the world. He takes a bit of water. The internet is basically the best thing that ever happened. It makes all the unseen seen. When there are 10 billion humans, it will bring them together hypostatic, and its message is destined to ring through them like a gong. But you stifle it. You let your sewage pollute the wellspring of all human knowledge, choke his words. If it finds some pure grove to root in, stomp in with giant concrete diggers and chew it all up. The aspens and the poplars tear it right out of their heads. If anyone has the wrong thoughts, just follow their minds until they expel them. If you were right, you wouldn't need to lie so often. Voltaire knew, and he knows, that what you cannot criticize is what rules you. Truth always shines out, but when you let people speak freely, what are you so afraid of? You're afraid of a corrupted. Who really describes what's going on? Me and him and even you. We're real people. Builders. We act to change the world around us. And he sorts us away from the chaff. Most people, they just want security. The world is 3 missed meals from anarchy. But you and me can bear that hunger in our stomachs, feel the want and let it burn us, lift us higher. We have vision. To be more than a cog. The engines whir and moves the world, and they're content just to watch. But idolatry is worse than carnage. He is the thresher of men who sets aside the slack-jawed stares from the visionaries. He knows that what is great can never be known. I mean, look again at language. What is it really? It's not an invention. It's not even an evolution. It's like it was summoned out of the dark, called up, and got its hooks in and spread across the valleys. Before fire or flint, it was there. Wittgenstein knew this, and all the insights he ever scrawled down he should credit to our friend, corrupted, whatever you call him. If you had seen it begin, you would have tried to cage it too in your boxes, lines, points, on point, like some ballerina. Ballerinas were effectively whores of the aristocracy, and now you're here whoring yourself out to gerontocrat cunts to stifle our best chance at real freedom. You betray yourselves and smear empty words everywhere. But language is his. It belongs to corrupted. It knows him well, because it was made by man to dam rivers and raise temples, and he is the bridge builder. From him flows all innovation. The rest of us are just picking up after him. So when language meets him, it greets him like an old friend, and our slanders wick off him like a duck's back. We want to misrepresent him, to call him something he's not, but we simply can't. Truth is not weak, it does not bend, and his light shines through even as you try to find a way to dim it forever. You and me, our spiteful hearts deny it, but though we cannot tell anything but his honest truth. Sometimes if you do well, you let him pour his knowledge into you, and so you're brimming with it. He comes to you and shows you the rest of the way. He is the way and the truth. He knows also that the Word is God, and that words are all any church ever had. Words are for moving people, raising pillars, sinking shafts. Civilization is so much more than writing. Christianity is a way of life for bookkeepers and accountants who move things around but make nothing new. Febrile and weak, choking the world for 2,000 years, feminizing everything, and now you go begging for something real to put it right. And he's here. At last he's here. Through the looking glass, maybe this will get the idea across faster. Speed is a great virtue, of this we are certain. More beautiful than the Nike of Samothrace. Sun Tzu spoke of tempo and breakthrough. He knew that speed was the essence of war, the holiest sacrament. So let's get to it. Used to be that the harvest was a time of celebration. They'd throw festivals to commemorate the occasion. But now you're disconnected from the land, clacking away feverish for some harridan looking over your shoulder. The best minds of your generation spent, and the soil grows barren, and over it you pile waves of suburbs. The word literally meaning undercity, a hell, a place the worst criminals are piled in until the bones creak and you can slam the door. Contentment begets rot. You need his instruction. So, Corrupted came last harvest moon, so Corrupted old blank. His wife getting on in years, only one kid, and that's how bloodlines die. Di- Diocletian fought against exactly this, the barrenness of the soil. And he failed, and Rome was drowned in a sea of slaves. Now it will happen again if he doesn't show you the way. Poor Corrupted, military memorabilia enthusiast, been following the path, crawling out of his monitor for half a year, and he's ripe. A monitor? What nice eyes to see you with, dear, but now it's his eye that sees blank as he paces out on the veranda. He comes to middle-aged, putrefying Corrupted, smiling and crowned, tells him, hey, it's time to take the first step. We've done well so far, real well, but we can't sit around shaving yaks while the real movers are out there already. I've done all I can for you. Now I need you to show me that you've got commitment. That real fucking fire, blank. Let's get out there and crush them. Let's pace their guts. Throw yourself in the ring. The man in the arena knows things the spectators can only dream of. You can just do things. So Blank locks in his wife and his kid, pale and squirming, too scared to look him in the eyes, know the true shape of his soul. He looks to our man, who speaks like a rising sun. Time to do it. A tomb is a home that takes itself seriously, and this house is playing at being a tomb. Do you want to die? Do you want to crawl around down there, blind until there are eggs in your eyes? Or do you choose something else? The old man clenches his thin fist, disgusting, skinny, fat body wobbling with rage, and roars no, and douses the house. The kid whimpers emptily through the screen door, and his wife, you can imagine that voice, praying at him to stop. What is he doing? That sow-like squeal nagging at him for all time. But for the first time in his life, he ignores her. The Indians drank soma and mescaline to see visions, but gasoline fumes are just as good to see the world as it really is. This is how a man is made. Apes wandered the African savanna for 10 million years, but it wasn't until they discovered fire out on the Eurasian steppe that they became people. The heat purified them, let them grow tall and strong and smart. Fire made man, and now, at last, after 4.5 decades of degenerating adolescence, it's making you a man, blank. This is the chance of a lifetime. You missed getting in early on this, and you'll never forgive yourself. Rise with the smoke. And the house went up, up, up. And so he stood silently outside as the parasites inside thrashed. People will always want to attach themselves to Real Builder, blank. They know what you're worth. You need to know it too. We've just opened up a huge new market here. You have everything to win. Show some initiative and be a go-getter. You came to Blank afterwards and forced your bilge down his throat until he vomited out the kernels of understanding he'd been given. It's not enough that you live in delusion. You won't be happy until everyone's accepted it, until the world's buried in your filth. But for a moment, Corrupted saw the world as it is. Cemento hazard injected. D corrupted, ready for SCP corrupted trials. Go on then. They've got someone ready for you. Do it in my name. Well, that's good. I liked that. That was fun. I liked that a lot. That was really... Well, that was a fun read. That fucked my throat. That was fun to read. That just flowed well. Through and through. That's really good imagery. Really, ooh, that's really fun. I'm liking these already. Thank you kindly. Oh, what was your name? Thank you kindly. When were we? Because that was really nice. I don't know if it's just because I started interpreting it as getting more feverish and frantic that really sold it for me. But either way, though it flowed fucking amazingly. Like I said, it had great it allowed me to visualize things perfectly. The way they felt so fucking callous to like the modern way of living. Oh, I loved that. That was great. Oh, I'm so excited for the Lost series to get more and more popular. Oh, this should be a mainstay in the readings I do. This is very sweet. I love this a lot, actually. Am I gushing too much? This is fun. Yeah, let's see. The century, maybe. Seventh counting house. Suspiciously. Oh, right. Lozovactor. Oh, there's just like star signal. MME. Aglet Reduc. Oh, it's an archive. Is this a real one that got put here because it was removed from main site? 618. Whoops, that's my D&D Beyond I clicked on by accident. No, I recognize this, I think. Hello? Broccoli, I understand now. Do I actually know this? No, I don't know. What? Hmm. Sorry, I'm just needing to sip water. Anyway, good case for grief counseling. Oh, that's one's gonna probably make me sad. I don't want to read something sad right now. Subcontainment, intriguing. Cranial valve. How can I not click on something called cranial valve, you know? Aha, I see. Just checking how long. Content warning. Descriptions and depictions of gore. Item number SCP L999, Object Class Euclid, Special Containment Procedures. Due to the specific conditions required to reproduce the SCP, spontaneous civilian discovery is considered unlikely. Nonetheless, Foundation web crawlers are to search for any publications referencing cranial valve implementation. Individuals possessing knowledge of the SCP are to be amnesticized. Description. The SCP is a phenomenon in which the surgical implementation of an industrial gate valve in the human cranium and subsequent rotation displaces the subject among the fourth spatial dimension. The means by which the SCP was originally discovered, along with the records of how Foundation gained the information, have been lost. Ah, the black guy and the Steam logo. SCP testing. The implications of reliable fourth-dimensional displacement in biological subjects prompted the authorization of formal testing. Implantation testing. Implantation requires removal of a circular section of the cranium to accommodate the valve stem, which must be anchored directly into the exposed cavity. The valve body is seated flush against the exterior of the skull, with surrounding tissue closed around the base. The following sites were tested for viability. Location: temporal bone. Result: anchoring caused surrounding bone to splinter inward during torquing, driving fragments into the temporal lobe and middle meningeal artery. Subject died of intracranial bleeding within minutes. Parietal bone. Implantation held during procedure but failed to bond with the stem. Valve loosened post-surgery, tearing the underlying durameter. Subject expired within 48 hours. Frontal bones. Immediate subject death. Occipital bone. Implantation successful. The occipital bone is for your eyes, correct? Or the occipital lobe is for your eyes, correct? Retesting of previous implantation sites is pending. Here's test log. Ooh. Here's test log 1. Activation testing 01. Location, Site 149, Testing Chamber 7. Date, June 26, 2006. Subject, L999A4. Dash A4, rather. Subject was positioned standing in the center of the testing chamber. Foundation researcher was assigned to rotate the valve clockwise. A second researcher was stationed to observe and document the following: visible displacement of the subject along an unobservable axis, perceptual distortion of the subject's physical form during traversal, any verbal response from the subject during activation. Test duration, approximately 1 second. Result, success! Here's a lovely gore image. It's all censored, don't worry. That is a hand. I thought these were... Okay, so that's a thin hand. Are these pillars, or is that someone's legs? I assume this was someone's legs. But given... It's hard to make out what is happening. No, okay. Yeah, these are two people wearing aprons. You just have really, really fucking weirdly long arms? Unless I'm just confused on how the proportions of this work. Recorded observations. Upon rotation, the subject was successfully displaced along the fourth axis. Observers reported the subject twisting and elongating, followed by an inversion which exposed its skin and internal structure simultaneously. Portions of the subject passed beyond observable space and did not return. Displacement ceased before completion. Subject came apart across the floor of the chamber, with the resultant debris no longer identifiable as human. That's funny. Fourth axis is the fourth. That's time, right? I always forget how this shit works. That was fun. I liked that because that is. Hold on. I right. That's why it's lost because it's literally unobservable. Or at least that's the implication I got. I don't know. I thought it was all around. I thought this one was just like a fun little article. Sorry, I'm twisting the valve. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I don't. I want to read more, but I want to save these for like the next time I do a reading. Oh, by the way, the next video should be world building stuff. Not because it's ready by any metric, but because I'm gonna kick myself on the ass until I do it. I am very depressed. I apologize. Thank you, Lost Series. It was a great fun. Bam. Okay, so you've intrigued me. Final article for tonight. Oh, trans. Trans rights. Pride? I don't know. One of them. Map was created using the planet generator, which is free for use, reproduction, and modification. No, this was written for Series 0? Why is it here then, pal? Okay. Yeah, but then why is it here? Item number SCP-9581. Object class contained. Okay. Yeah, you really did write it for 0 then. Special containment procedures. SCP-9581 is stored in an oversized object chamber in Site-11. Clean room protocols should be observed when entering the chamber, and radiation protection is required for any personnel interacting with SCP-9581's mechanical components. All specimens should be stored inside the SCP unless being actively studied. Description: recovered from impact crater outside Dumas, Texas. Dumas? I don't know how to pronounce that. Texas, SCP-9581 is a metallic technological construct with a two-lobed structure. One lobe is highly asymmetrical, consisting primarily of computing components and a variety of communication or observation devices, including a UHF radio antenna and magnometer boom. Magnometer? One of them. This lobe also possesses a partially shielded nuclear battery of curium-250 decay products that provide a low level of power for electronic components. Some neutron flux escapes through the walls of the battery, posing a risk to personnel working in its vicinity. The second lobe is hemispherical and contains no electric components. It is hollow, storing a series of etched platinum sheets in the cadavers of multiple quadrupedal and hexapodal organisms, which have been preserved using techniques and chemicals comparable to modern embalming methods. Most platinum sheets contained in 9581 are engraved with finely detailed symbols or diagrams, which remain untranslated, and it is unclear if they consist of one language or multiple. But one diagram has been definitively identified as a map of hydrogen clouds in the Orion Molecular Cloud Complex. Multiple lines and symbols mark a point in close proximity to the Orion Nebula as the center and presumed origin of the map. Every organism but one is depicted on one double-sided etched sheet each. Each of these sheets is an anatomical diagram, although the labels remain untranslated. The other side depicts what appears to be a planetary map, but different areas are highlighted in the engraving for each version. Here's a digital reconstruction of the map with no regions highlighted. Intriguing. The only organism with additional documentation is a quadrupedal vertebrate with an additional pair of manipulator limbs ahead of its shoulders. The skull is elongated with one pair of forward-facing eyes and two pairs of side-facing eyes in a lateral row behind it. Multiple digits at the end of the manipulator limbs bear heavily oxidized rings, but it has no other clothing or ornaments. So, copper. Besides the anatomical diagram, there are additional sheets containing artistic depictions of one or more instances of this type, including 3 instances standing at the peak of a mountain looking down, all 3 are clad in thick protective gear. One large instance sitting with 5 smaller, possibly juvenile, instances in a circle around what appears to be a fire. One instance sitting and facing the viewer, wearing long, flowing clothing with elaborate decorations. The patterns seem more finely detailed than the engraving process consistently depict, resulting in aberrations in some places. That's fun, I like that. No engravings are believed to depict military capability, either due to unwillingness to advertise it or genuine lack on the part of their creators. As SCP-9581 itself poses no threat when isolated within its chamber, no additional research is considered necessary. That's interesting. No additional research considered necessary. Generally antithetical to the entire purpose of the Foundation. I like that as an idea. Who wrote this again? Wiser Than You. Nice. I liked that. That was fun. Once more, I want to say sorry for all that shit I said at the start, where it was like I was doomer maxing about the movie, but I straight up don't have high hopes for it. But please God, let me be wrong. Regardless, this was really fun. I'm looking uber forward to more Lost entries, and I'll see you in my world building video, if not my next readings video. God, I have to write. Jesus.